How's it going, YouTube? Hi, Drax here, and in today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of a different type of video. Obviously from the title you did see this is going to be a rant type of video. I don't usually do these. Obviously the game itself has a lot of issues. I mean, what doesn't have a lot of issues? But generally speaking, it has become a bigger issue during the celebration in regards to the attitude of the developers and the planners and anyone who was involved in actually scheduling this event for the player base, because obviously we all know that the anniversary was absolutely dismal this year. It's not even considered an anniversary because obviously if we look at what they gave us, it is no different than what we would normally get in a usual month. It is practically the same, maybe excluding a raid here or there, and maybe the rewards are just a little bit more prominent now. Obviously the Dragon Ball superhero movie featuring Gohan and Piccolo as the main protagonists was delayed from the initial release up until now, which is why a lot of the player base assumed that the anniversary, being what it is, or the first part at least, was as lackluster as it was because the movie was delayed and they could not release on schedule, or at least on time, regarding the units that they were supposed to release. But if we look at the game, we did actually get a lot of free-to-play units from this anniversary, and we did actually get two of the movie units, being Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Gamma 1 being free, obviously you did get him at 0 stars from the missions that you did, if you could actually get to do those missions. But yeah, I'm actually just going to be speaking about the general things that this anniversary did wrong and how they could improve on it in future. Because if we actually look at the events going on right now, there isn't really many. A lot of the events going on right now are repeats. If we look at the stories, we have the repeat of the Majin Buu story and the Android 18 story. These things have been around forever. They have come back multiple times, more so than you can actually remember. And then the Broly story here, the Zenkai Awakened Broly, has come back, I believe, every anniversary in, I think, since they dropped this, and then they revamped it and they dropped it again. I believe last anniversary as well, we could actually Zenkai this guy. Obviously the time is not the same. We did get other events and stuff going on at the time, but this Broly story has been around forever. So it makes sense that they've already given us a hard mode, but it's not so difficult to actually just give us a new difficulty of this mode, just to give the player base something to do. I mean, look at the actual players that are playing the game. The people who are actually playing this game are people who have been logging in consistently over the past 4 years. Maybe not every day, maybe not every other day, but generally a lot of the player base logs in at least once or twice a week, maybe even more than that depending on how often they play the game. But other than that, look at this, we only got a Super Saiyan Gogeta for free here. That's actually a story. And then the free-to-play Goku Trunks, not Goku, Trunks, and I'm talking about the Goku, Krillin, and Tien. If we look at this actual story, look at how many events there's, or missions there are here. There's barely anything to do here. I mean, a lot of these people would have finished this day 1 when it dropped. So a lot of people are not going to be enjoying that. And then obviously the newest story mission here, being the Greatest Showdown, is only about 4 or 5 stages long, including the bonus event. That's the only actual stuff we got. We didn't get a real update to the story mode featuring Charlotte that I can remember. It hasn't really updated. Yeah, it's still the same, hasn't updated at all. Other than that, events have only been the normal co-op, which is made actually worse than it is usually, because you have to grind up a lot of the 4th anniversary medals, which exclusively drop from the co-op difficulties, being extreme and then the second highest one. For those coins, you actually have to get at least 250 of those coins to actually get the final Dragon Ball for Shenron, which is absolutely ridiculous. What was wrong with just having people normally come in, scan their QR codes, hunt for the Dragon Balls? But no, they had to go and make it honestly a grind to actually get the medals required to actually get the final 2 Dragon Balls, which was really, really annoying. It's really stupid. It's something I wish they would not implement ever again in this game. I mean, even look at this. I play the game a lot. I pretty much play it every day. So, and you can see, I don't even have 300 of these medals. I just barely got the 250 mark with the Dragonball like a few days ago, like maybe 2 days ago. Other than that, look at the missions for this week. We have nothing. We only have the Supreme Gogeta missions. We have the 4th anniversary missions. We got the normal monthly missions. The Z missions are always there. And then we have the Zenkai Awaken missions for Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Honestly, this anniversary has been a real letdown, other than the fact that the raid has been here for an extra week, which they had to do because of how many maintenance they have had. I'm actually just really disappointed with the game and the team. I think this is the least I've liked Dragon Ball Legends since the game has come out. I believe this is the worst the game has been ever. I don't see any time being actually worse than this in terms of content that they've scheduled for us, in terms of actual gameplay and actual stuff you can do in the game. Obviously, they were banking on the fact that Mastered UI Goku was going to carry the anniversary, which he did for a portion. I can admit it was at least somewhat carried by UI Goku in terms of hype, but having a cap that you had to be at to actually get decent rewards from probably the most grindable event of this entire anniversary, being the co-op. I mean, look at this. You get, obviously, UI Goku, you obviously have free-to-play options, but if you actually look at the drops, you actually are getting so little drops. I mean, you have to have UI Goku at least 9 stars to actually even attempt to actually clear out the shop, which is absolutely ridiculous. They shouldn't have made it that. They should have just left it as, if you have UI Goku, straight up 50 medals. Anything beyond that, like maybe 9 stars, you can get another 10 medals or whatever. They shouldn't have made it, or shouldn't have incentivized the raid specifically on UI Goku stars. They should have made it just a general thing. This is a very bad decision. Honestly, a lot of people are voicing their concerns and their dislike of this anniversary, so much so that a lot of the bigger YouTubers that actually have connections and a way to contact Bandai and the development team, such as Goresh, Deep Free, I believe Kawaii is also on there, and then a lot of these other characters and people that I don't really know about. But yeah, those guys actually drafted a very prominent letter that they released on Twitter for everyone to read, detailing the actual concerns they've had about the game and how the scumminess of this decision they've made has affected the player base, the game, and the things that they did not like and did not want to see again. It is called hashtag Dragon Ball Legends Action, or DBL Action. I'm a firm supporter of this initiative that they've gone ahead and done. Hopefully we actually see some response to that in the tomorrow's obviously the reveals and stuff. But looking forward at this game, a lot of these events that have actually come out, if we actually look, are just repeated events. So looking at it from a very older player, this is not going to be a very good anniversary for anybody. If you're a brand new player, you have a ton of stuff to do. There's plenty of stuff to do. If you're a brand new player logging in for the first time, you have access to all these free Gokus. You have the Yamcha, you have Broly, you have all the free units from this anniversary. Specifically, you have the raid if you did manage to get UI Goku done. You have Legends Road, obviously Great Saiyaman 1. You have this Zenkai Rush. There's a lot of things you can do here if you're a brand new player. But Legends has always maintained the fact that if you're a brand new player, you're going to be having a much better time in the game than a non-new player. Obviously, if we actually look at it historically, they've always catered to new players, which is also a good and bad thing. Obviously, we do want fresh blood in the game, keeping the game alive, sustaining the PvP nature, giving a lot of people a chance to actually go in and actually enjoy themselves. But on the other hand, they are punishing and actually alienating their veteran player base by doing this, or at least not releasing stuff that they can actually do, or at least have actual content for the older player base to actually come and enjoy. I mean, even if they actually released the story mode, if you actually look at the story mode, The story mode doesn't even have hard versions for a lot of this. The last time we actually got a hard version release was for part 4. We are currently on part 12. That is 7 parts of unused or untapped story mode that doesn't have a hard mode or even a scream difficulty. I can tell you without a fact, it is not difficult to build events for this game. It is not difficult at all. All you have to do is just copy and paste maybe a screen layout, like maybe the Majin Buu, where you go along this path straight like this, have a background. You can actually just put generic enemies from whatever saga they could have done. Like for example, since we are focusing on Universe Survival Saga, they could have done the build up to the TOP, where we go ahead and recruit all of our people, where we fight all the different people that we did recruit in the anime, such as we could have fought not Super 17, Ranger 17 we could have fought Fat Boo, we could have fought Gohan, we could have done all of that, we could have fought Krillin and Android 18, and it would have been perfectly fine, because that would have been a new form of content for us to enjoy that's not a repeat of anything that's happened. Because when these events come back, these events are not reset, they come back done, your missions are set. The only thing that may come back is the fact that you can get a new platinum coin by finishing these stories 100 times. But then a lot of the time, a lot of people just clear these things out. Like if this wasn't the only way that I could get my my adventures, I would not be doing these events. I would actually be pouring all of my resources into the bonus battles, trying to get my resources sorted out. I would have been pouring all my resources into the Super Gogeta just to get those coins, just to clear out the shop. But yeah, in the bigger grand scheme of things, I'm very, very, very disappointed in the game, and I've actually like heavily disliked PvP as it is, because everybody knows during the anniversary all the players come together for this game, which is a good and a bad thing. PvP being a bad thing because that means all the bad players with bad internet come up into the game. All the sweaty players that don't really stick around in this game outside of the hype celebrations are coming back in the game. They're making things more difficult. A lot of cheaters, DCers, a lot of hackers are coming back because it's obviously a hype celebration. They can chance it because it is a hype release. And then obviously the fact that this game does not balance units properly. UI Goku is probably one of the most unbalanced characters in this game. I mean, they obviously always do this with the new characters. They always release a broken character that's going to be an issue, and then maybe a month or two down the line, they sell you a new character that they've quote-unquote designed to specifically counter this guy, which you need because it's going to bring in his own obvious meta-defining age. But yeah, UI Goku is an issue. There's a lot of things wrong with him. His ability to do damage on counters every time with the unique gauge is absolutely ridiculous. It makes the game so stale because it promotes a playstyle I am not okay with, and that is sitting back and the passive playstyle. Two characters that work well together is going to be Ultra Kaioken Goku, and it's going to be the UI Goku, specifically because both of these characters want to perfect vanish you and attack you. I believe it's worse for Ultra Kaioken Goku because at least there are a lot of red units running around now which counter him significantly, but the fact that two of the probably the most oppressive units I think outside of the androids right now are these two guys. So obviously having both these characters supporting the same type of playstyle where you sit back and wait for your opponent to attack, praying that you either perfect vanish it or that you play in such a way that you could actually perfectly farm those vanishes. It is absolutely ridiculous. But then if we also look at the equipment rerolling system, that hasn't received a revamp in such a long time. Even though they quote-unquote revamped it to make it more player-base friendly, it is so expensive to do. I've seen people on Twitter, I believe Deep Free did this, and I believe obviously Ryuden did this because they farm equips quite heavily for their content. I believe Deep Free went in at least 800 erasers just to get a single slot completed on the new Broly Platinum equip. Ryuden I think did something similar to that, where he went in at least I think a couple hundred to get it done, which shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't be having a gacha system within a gacha system. It is very counterintuitive and it actually alienates the player base and makes it unfun. And if a game is not fun, then why are you playing it in the first place? That is the bigger question about this game. But yeah, coming down to the nitty and gritty stuff, there's a lot of things I hope that they improve on for the second part of the anniversary, which is going to drop, or at least we're going to get information about tomorrow. I would actually hope that they go ahead and do a better job, because they can't blame it on Dragon Ball Superhero delaying the anniversary, so they couldn't release stuff. That's absolutely ridiculous, because it's basically confirmed that we're not getting that type of content, or that movie content right now in the game, which everyone speculated was for the anniversary. We're not getting that content, so what's the point, or what was the reason for them delaying the anniversary? So, and why did we only get one banner, and that banner being UI Goku? In my opinion, the developers are just being very lazy. They're cruising and they're coasting through this game because they know the Dragon Ball IP will carry the name and this game for a very long time. Because let's face it, if this game wasn't a Dragon Ball game and was some generic fighting game that was based off a less popular series, I would like to say maybe something like what's not really interesting that's a fighting game. Let's just say it was built off Berserk. This game was built off the Berserk anime, for example. This game wouldn't have lasted half as long because it would have been PvP, obviously. And then what would the player base have been? The player base would have been very, very small, first of all. So much so I don't believe they would be actually making a profit, because let me tell you something, a lot of people in this game do not spend. And that is why this game is always going to be a little bit worse than Dokkan, because Dokkan people spend a lot of money in that game. So it's always going to be an issue, but that doesn't mean it gives them the right to make the game the way it is right now. Intentionally punishing the player base and making this anniversary bad is counterintuitive, purely because you are driving away the new players that come into this game forever. If a new player comes in this game, imagine hopping into PvP and fighting 14-star androids with your 1-star, 2-star UI Goku, or 3-star UI Goku that you've just freshly pulled. Those people are going to quit this game hard, and they're not going to come back ever. But anyways, guys, that's my little rant breakdown for you guys. I'm just very unhappy with the game right now. I actually really hope Part 2 has something interesting for us, because if they don't, I just don't know about this game, man. I don't really see the player base being the way it is in the future. I mean, obviously Legends Festival is hype, but Anniversary is right up there being the second hypest thing. And if they treat the Anniversary as they do now, it's basically confirmation that they've stopped trying for this game. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think of this Anniversary down below. My name is Hydrax. I'll catch you in the next one.